Hi, welcome back. I'm Adam Rosen. I'm a board-certified orthopedic surgeon who specializes in total knee replacements. You may have seen some of my other videos, and in one of them I talked about what the normal expectations are at 1 month after your knee replacement. Well, today I want to talk to you about what you're going to see at 3 months or 4 months. So many surgeons, after surgery, we may see our patients back around 4 to 6 weeks, and then again at 3 to 4 months. So at 3 to 4 months, when I meet my patients, I do let them know that you're not fully recovered. Most people I find are about 80–90% recovered. What does that mean? Well, it means that they're back to doing pretty much everything that they want to do, but you still notice or feel or recognize your knee. You're still aware of your knee. So if you ran into a friend or family member that maybe you haven't seen in a while, they would ask you how you're doing. You might say, I'm doing great, but my knee's a little sore. I just had my knee replaced about 3 months ago. So that's still a normal complaint. You're going to be aware of the knee. The other thing many patients have is first thing in the morning, or after a long car ride, or plane ride, or movie. When you've been sitting for a while, it's stiff. So that stiffness or that feeling of stiffness when you first get up in the morning usually goes away 10, 15, 20 steps, or you get to the kitchen, have a cup of coffee, and then it feels better throughout the day. It's also very common to have some achiness at the end of the day. You've been on your feet for a while, you're doing things that you want to do, but you notice it later in the day. The other common time that I see that complaint of achiness is any of the big box stores. It seems that just about every patient will call around 3 months. They went to Costco, which is common near us, or they went to Target or Walmart. They drove there, they walked around the store, usually longer than they thought they would be there. They come home, unpack all your packages that you got, and then later that day, you're just a lot more aware of your knee. So that's normal. You should have good range of motion. So at this point, you should have full extension, the knee being totally straight, and 120 degrees of bending or flexion or more. It's really hard after 3 to 4 months to get more range of motion. So hopefully by now you've gotten that motion. The other thing that I talk to patients about is this cross leg exercise. So especially after hips and knees, they're stiff from arthritis. You do surgery, they get a little stiffer. And although the bending we focus on, there's still this pivoting or rotation in the knee. So if it was your right knee, I tell patients, take your right leg, put your ankle up on your other knee, hold the ankle there with your hand, take your other hand and push down on the knee. You might do this when you're sitting at the kitchen table for meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just hold it for 30 seconds or so. It might be stiff when you first start that exercise, but then over time, you should notice it starts to get looser and looser. So activities like putting on shoes and socks, clipping your toenails, all become easier because you can cross your legs. The other common thing that I have patients do at 3 months is they start this kneeling protocol. There's a surgeon in Chicago who came up with this protocol, which is quite simple, but it's very effective. And it gets 80% or more of patients the ability to kneel because that scar can be sensitive. So I have a digital copy that goes out through our digital platform, and I'll share it with the patients. I do have another video on that kneeling protocol, so you can watch that video also, and just make sure with your surgeon that your wound is healed enough and your knee is safe enough to do this kneeling protocol, and that will help get you to the road of being able to kneel on the knee when you have to. The main thing is, since you've gotten your range of motion at this point, is to build up strength and build up stamina. That's the thing that may be lacking because for a long time before surgery, you were decreasing your activity. It was hard to do things. So now that that pain from arthritis is gone, you can do more and you can really push those limits and get that strength and stamina back. Now, the other thing that I recommend to all of my patients is to change the time that you've dedicated to therapy into time for a general exercise program. You've figured out some way in your schedule to have that time. So don't give that time away and do other stuff that is not as productive. You don't want to sit on the sofa if you just got your knee replaced. That wasn't the goal. The goal is to be more active. So this is where you might start walking more, getting back to golf or tennis or pickleball, or getting involved in classes if you have access to those at a local gym. Those are the things that you wanted to get back to, so take advantage of them now. And then the big question a lot of patients have is about returning to work. So if you are still working, I do have some patients that at 2 months feel so good that they want to go back to work. They feel better already, and that's okay. I release them to work. For some patients, they have to work. They may need it for financial reasons or to support their family. Most patients take about 3 months off. So for many of our patients, we have them take off 3 months and then go back to work at 3 months. They find that that 3-month period gives them time not only to rehab their knee, but to get their health back in order. They get back to good sleeping habits and good eating habits, so they just feel overall better when they go back to work. For some of my patients that have more labor-intensive jobs, it may be 4 months. So although the majority go back around 3 months, some go back as early as 2 months and some at 4 months. Whenever you go back, I always forewarn patients, the first week or two is tough. You go back on Monday, by Thursday, Friday, you're just physically and mentally exhausted. Just know that's normal. And what I found over the years is whether or not you go back at 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, it's always about the first 2 weeks that are tough. So for many patients, if they have the ability, I say go back for a week or two at half days. You might go back 4 hours if you're normally working an 8-hour shift. Or sometimes even the first week, they might try to schedule it around returning on a holiday where it's a shorter work week, or they might go back on a Wednesday just to work a 3-day work week to then have the weekend off and then start back a full week the next week after. So I hope that really answers some of the questions that you may have as to what to expect in you and your knee at the 3 to 4 month after a total knee replacement. These are things that really commonly come up. So I like patients to know this information before surgery so they know what to expect. So at 3 or 4 months, if you have any of these symptoms, you're not caught off guard and you understand that those symptoms that you may have are still normal. But talk to your surgeon about anything that might be specific to you or the activities that you want to go back to or to your job if there's special requirements that you might need. Thanks again for listening. I'm Adam Rosen. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you'll get updates on when future videos come out and are available. Until next time, stay safe.